It arrived on a Tuesday, a day like any other, or so I thought. The postman looked nervous. He handed me a golden envelope. It shimmered in my hand. Heavy, important. My name was written in elegant script, a script that seemed to shift, like smoke or a half-remembered dream. Inside, a single card, thick, creamy, edged in more gold. The words were few. "You are invited," it began, an invitation to JTA 100KLANDS. A place I had never heard of, a place that sounded impossible. The card pulsed with a faint warmth. A soft hum vibrated through my fingers. It felt like a secret. The invitation promised wonders beyond imagination, it claimed. An experience to change everything. There was no return address, only a date. And a time, and a single cryptic instruction. "Be ready," it whispered, not in sound, but in feeling. A pull towards the unknown. A thread of fate tugging gently. I should have been scared. Perhaps part of me was, but curiosity is a powerful thing. It can be a key or a trap. This felt like both. The golden ticket, a pass to somewhere else. I folded the invitation and started to pack. The journey was a blur, like falling asleep and then waking suddenly. I stood on cool, dark grass. The air thrummed with energy. It smelled of starlight and old stone. Above, 2 moons hung in the sky, one silver, one a deep glowing blue. The ultra-moons, I guessed. They watched me like ancient eyes. Before me, structures rose, towers of impossible height, the ultramoon twin towers. They scraped the inky sky, made of something like obsidian, but they glowed from within. Lights danced across their surfaces, patterns shifted, changed, like living constellations. It was beautiful and terrifying. A path appeared at my feet, made of glowing pebbles, each one a tiny star. It led towards a grand entrance, carved into the base of one tower. No people were visible, yet I did not feel alone. The land itself seemed aware, watching, waiting, a silent, knowing presence. I walked the starlit path. Each step was soft, soundless. The air grew warmer, sweeter, like night-blooming flowers. The entrance loomed larger, a vast archway. Darkness swirled within it, a welcoming, or devouring, darkness. I took a breath and stepped into JTA 100KLANDS. My rooms were in the West Tower, the presidential suite. A soft voice had said, a voice from nowhere and everywhere. The suite was larger than my house. Walls seemed to breathe. Furniture shifted subtly when I wasn't looking, or perhaps even when I was. It was unsettling, luxurious. A window stretched across one wall. It showed not the outside, but swirling nebulae, distant galaxies. The view changed with my thoughts, a wish for mountains, and mountains appeared, snow-capped, majestic, then gone, replaced by oceans, deep, mysterious, teeming with light. The room catered to whims. In the center, a bed, piled high with silk pillows, each a different shade of midnight. It looked impossibly comfortable. Beside it, a small table. On the table, a single fruit. It glowed with an inner light, shaped like a star, smelling of dreams. I dared not touch it. Not yet. Strange music drifted from unseen sources, melodies that tugged at memory. But memories not my own, ancient songs, forgotten lullabies, whispers seemed to coil in the corners, secrets of the tower, secrets of JTA 100KLANDS. I was a guest, or perhaps a prisoner, in gilded comfort. The next day I explored. JTA 100KLANDS was a tapestry, woven from wonder and shadow. Floating islands drifted in the sky. Waterfalls flowed upwards. Trees whispered ancient secrets. Their leaves were silver, their bark like jade. The ground crunched softly, not with stones but with tiny gears. And fallen, fossilized stars, creatures roamed this land, things from storybooks and things no story had dared tell. Griffins soared on sunlit winds, their feathers shimmered, their cries echoed like bells. Shadowcats, sleek and silent, their eyes held old knowledge. They watched me pass, unblinking, judging or merely curious. I saw tiny winged beings. They mended broken flowers with threads of light. They giggled like wind chimes and vanished if I came too close. In a hidden grove I found them, creatures of pure light, dancing in a circle. Their forms shifted like living flames. This place was alive, every rock, every stream. It hummed with an ancient power. Technology and magic, intertwined, impossible to separate. Flying machines like silver insects shared the air with dragons, whose scales shone like jewels. JTA 100KLANDS was a paradox, a beautiful, dangerous dream. Section 5. The legend of JTA100K. They spoke of someone or something called JTA100K. The name was on every breeze, in every rustling leaf. The creator, the guardian, the heart of this impossible place. Some said JTA100K was a spirit, ancient, powerful, formless, woven into the very fabric of the land, a consciousness vast and unknowable. Others whispered JTA100K was a being, a figure of immense power, who had built this world from dreams and stardust, a craftsman of realities. They said JTA100K lived in the highest tower, watching over all, rarely seen, always felt, a legend walking among its own creations, a myth made real. The ultra-moon eclipse, that was another whisper, a time of great change, a celestial event, unique to this land, when the two moons aligned, casting strange shadows, unleashing potent energies. It was said the eclipse changed things, deeply, fundamentally, and it was coming soon. JTA100K was tied to the eclipse, or so the stories claimed. The eclipse was a renewal, a transformation, for the land and for its creator. A secret lay at the heart of it. A secret about JTA100K. What would happen? No one would say clearly, only that it was vital and perilous. Days passed in a dreamlike haze. I learned more about the land. I learned more about the coming eclipse. The air grew thick with anticipation, a subtle tension, like a drawn bowstring. The silver moon seemed brighter, the blue moon darker. Their dance in the sky was changing, moving towards their fated meeting. The creatures of JTA100KLANDS grew restless. The griffins flew in tighter circles, their cries sharper, more urgent. The shadow cats became bolder, appearing more often, their eyes gleaming with an inner fire. Even the tiny winged menders seemed to work with a frantic energy, preparing for something vast and inevitable. The whispers about JTA100K intensified. They said the eclipse was a shedding, a peeling away of an old form for JTA100K to be reborn, or remade into something new, something different. This transformation was crucial for the balance of JTA100KLANDS, but it was also a vulnerable time for the land and for its heart. I found myself watching the moons night after night, feeling their pull. A strange connection formed between me, this land, and the sky. The golden invitation felt heavier in my pocket, no longer just a ticket, but a piece of the unfolding story. I was not just an observer, I knew it. The eve of the eclipse arrived. The sky was a bruised purple, the air was still, silent, too silent. A hush had fallen over JTA100KLANDS, as if the world held its breath. I felt a deep thrumming from beneath the ground, from the towers themselves. JTA100K was stirring. From my window I saw the towers. They pulsed with a stronger light, the obsidian turning almost transparent, revealing intricate workings within. Like the gears of a giant clock or the veins of a living being, energy crackled between them, arcs of blue and silver lightning, the focus of all power, the heart of the transformation. Then a figure appeared atop the tallest tower, JTA100K. Not a spirit, not formless, but a being of shifting light, sometimes humanoid, sometimes pure energy. It raised its arms to the moons as they began to touch, to merge. A beacon in the growing dark. A cry echoed, not of pain, but of effort, of immense power being unleashed. JTA100K began to change, to shimmer, to dissolve and reform. The light around it intensified, blinding, overwhelming. The ground shook. The transformation was beginning, violently. The eclipse was total. Darkness swallowed JTA100KLANDS, a profound, absolute black, but it was not empty. The darkness pulsed with unseen forces. Chaos erupted. The land itself seemed to writhe. Strange sounds filled the air. Roars, screeches, whispers. The creatures were agitated, transformed. Shadows danced with a life of their own. They stretched, they clawed. The beautiful land became menacing, unpredictable, wild. The carefully maintained balance was gone, shattered. This was the raw power of JTA100KLANDS. Unleashed, unfiltered. It was terrifying and strangely beautiful. I clung to the window frame, watching the storm of creation and uncreation. JTA100K's light still shone, a pinpoint in the chaos, struggling, reforming. Then a realization hit me. This wasn't just destruction, it was a rhythm, a cycle. Death and rebirth. The land needed this chaos to cleanse, to renew. JTA100K needed this vulnerability to grow, to change. My fear began to fade, replaced by a strange understanding, a sense of awe. I was part of this rhythm too, a tiny note in a vast symphony. Surviving meant embracing the change. Slowly, the moons separated, a sliver of blue light, then silver. Dawn broke over JTA100KLANDS. Not a normal dawn, but one painted in new colors. The land was altered, familiar, yet different. Fresher, more vibrant. The scars of the night were already healing. JTA100K stood on the tower, no longer shifting light, but a solid, radiant form. New, powerful, serene. It looked down, and I felt its gaze. Not a look of scrutiny, but of acknowledgement, a silent thanks for witnessing, for understanding. Back in my suite, things were calm. The window showed a peaceful sunrise. On the table, the star fruit. It pulsed gently. Beside it, another card. Not gold this time, but silver. The cycle continues, it read. You are now part of its song, a promise or a warning, perhaps both. My departure was like my arrival, a gentle fading, a soft waking. I was back in my own world, but it seemed less real. JTA100KLANDS had changed me. The golden ticket was gone, the silver card remained, a reminder, an invitation for the next ultra eclipse, perhaps.